Hello everyone, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Geraldine Taffy. If you are new here, thank you for choosing to watch this video. And if you're an old subscriber, thank you so much for coming back again. And guys, I would like to thank you for the love that you've been showing my videos. I think the last video that I uploaded had like I don't remember. I don't remember the last video per se, but generally my channel has received over 100 views, which is actually the first time to have over 100 views in a month. So please keep sharing these videos. Tell your friends to tell a friend to tell a friend. So today we have a different video. I have my notebook here. Our video is a little different. Today we are going to be talking all things money. I don't know if I should call it all things money, all things personal finance, or it's just financial planning rather. So today is Saturday the 21st of October, and just before I started recording this, I found myself planning for my next month. So what I normally do is before the end of month comes, so before I get my salary for October, I make sure that I plan before I get the money. So today I was doing that. I was planning. That's when I decided, okay, let's just talk about these finances a bit. So with me here, I have my notebook. I've just tried to jot down a few items that I thought may be necessary for management of personal finances. So maybe a background to this, how I started tracking my finances, how I started planning my finances before I actually get the money is at one point, I think this was in 2021, I was working and I was earning quite a decent amount of money, but I would find myself on around the 7th or the 8th of every month, I'll be broke and I'll be waiting like for the next salary. When I say I'll be broke, I mean I would have literally maybe $3 or sometimes $7. So at one point I was discussing with my boss or my supervisor at that time. It was a lady, and she said to me, you know what, Geraldine, we always have enough money for the lifestyle we can afford. And that statement on its own has changed my view when it comes to money. We always have enough money for the lifestyle that we can afford. So the moment that you see your money is inadequate or your money is not enough, it means somewhere, somehow, you are jumping onto the next level of life. You are jumping onto another level that you cannot afford. You are jumping onto that lifestyle that you cannot afford. Because as long as you stay within your limits, as long as you live within your means, that's the lifestyle you can afford. And as long as you do that religiously, then you should never get to a point where you say you are broke. I believe that. So because of that statement, I ended up believing that, you know what, everyone has the potential to become financially stable. So they say that the difference between the rich and the poor is not how much we earn, but rather how we spend our money, how we spend our income. So because of those two statements, the difference between the rich and the poor is not in how much we earn, but rather how much we spend, combined with we always have enough money for the lifestyle we can afford, made me realize that, you know what, financial stability is not something that is far-fetched. It's not a goal that is unbelievable or unrealistic, but actually everyone can attain that financial stability. So according to me, financial stability is when you are able to live your life on a day-to-day basis, the way you want to live it, and in a way that you are not stressed about anything. So what do I mean when I say that? When I'm saying that, what I'm saying is, let's say you are an average earner in Zimbabwe, maybe let's say $400 a month. You are earning $400 a month. If you're earning $400 a month, you can be financially stable with that $400 a month. So what I'm saying is, with that $400 a month, we do not expect you to be renting a house that goes for $350 or $380. It's out of your limits. So for you to be financially stable, you need to make sure that your rental is a bit reasonable for the $400, maybe $100, maybe 120, or some, in worst cases, 150. Then you also need to make sure that your child, wherever the child lands, you cannot be sending your child to a school that needs maybe $800 per term. It doesn't make sense. So this is the reason why most people are always strained when it comes to finances. This is the reason why most people are always struggling. You can't send your child to a school that requires you to pay higher than you earn. Don't choose to stress yourself for no reason. Don't choose to stress yourself for no reason. So there are schools that are quite good. I don't know if we still have schools that are good, but what I can say is I personally went to a local school, local in the ghetto, and I turned out really well. Afterwards, I went to a boarding school, which was just a mission school, and I still turned out really well. So don't force yourself to send your kids to a school that requires you to pay maybe 800 to 1,200 when you are earning 350 to 400. It doesn't make sense, because at the end of the day, you need to have some savings, and you need to make sure that at some point your savings should be able to sustain you in the event that you lose your job. So let's say you are earning 400 and your child is attending a school that needs you to pay 1,200. How are you going to sustain your life in the event that you have lost your job? How are you going to sustain your life in the event that you have lost your job when you are paying rentals maybe that are equivalent to a salary? It doesn't make sense, unless otherwise you know that your salary is not your only source of income. So here, when we are talking about, I'm just going to give you a few tips on how I do my budgeting. So here we are not entirely speaking about salary, but rather income. So we are going to be looking at the full income that you get in a month. So whether you are self-employed, whether you are formally employed, there is a certain range, there is a minimum figure that you know that each month this is how much I get. So I'm just going to go into how I do it. Obviously, I don't use my notebook for planning. I actually use Excel, because Excel allows me to come up with a plan, and during the course of the month I'll be updating how much of that plan have I followed. I'll be updating, okay, if I said I'm going to be paying $50 for rental, did I pay $50 for rental? And I'll update that one, just to make sure that there's no misalignment and to help myself track myself. So this is how I do my finances. Like I already mentioned, I do it on the 21st. Normally I don't get to the 28th before I plan for my money. So, but because I was kind of busy, I was writing exams, I was so overwhelmed, so I ended up doing it today, which is the 21st. But still, I don't have my salary yet. So on the first block, this is income, all forms of income. So this is inclusive of salary, this is inclusive of the money that I get from my handbags when I sell my handbags, the money that I get from selling Phytomed, and any other source of income. I just add that income. So after income, now I then deduct all fixed expenses. So on fixed expenses, this is a bunch of expenses which have my rental, this is my fuel, this is my tithe, my partnership, my insurance, this is my groceries, and my maintenance budget. So I don't know if I've left anything out, but you know, those are like the most basic things that I need on a day-to-day basis. So I make sure that they quantify as fixed expenses, because they're going to be fixed. As it is right now, I'm now at a point where I know how much I need in groceries every month. I know obviously I know how much I pay in rentals. I now know how much I need for fuel. I now know how much I need as a maintenance budget, top of my nails, my hair, my lashes, etc. I now know how much I need obviously as partnership, because I'm a partner in church, and I also know how much I pay as tithe. Tithe is prescribed. We all know that tithe is 10%, so it's kind of non-negotiable. So after the fixed expenses, I move on to the savings. So I have, I think I have two forms of savings. But the first savings, these are the savings that I save maybe towards buying something big, towards a bigger goal that I have. Let's say I give myself a goal that I want to buy a car this year. These are the savings that I will be saving towards that car, or towards starting a business, or towards opening a shop. Let's say I've decided to rent a shop for my bags. Those are the kind of savings that I'm referring to here. So I have my savings. Then after savings, I have my self-development fund. This self-development fund is the money that goes to school fees. This is the money that goes towards my fees and any other self-development programs. Sometimes I just register maybe for a $10 course to learn how to learn about grooming. Sometimes I just register for a $10 course to learn how to do public speaking. Sometimes I just do a lot of things, and sometimes at one point I invested about $10, 15, I don't know, just to attend a social media masterclass, content creation masterclass. So I've attended a content creation masterclass. As much as I'm not such a big content creator, but I do take time to invest in myself, and I do have a budget for that under self-development. So after self-development, I have money that is allocated for my family being my mother and my father. So I always have a certain amount that is being allocated to my mother and my father. So I may not give it out every month. Sometimes I give it out every month, sometimes I don't even give it out. But trust me, if I don't give it out, I'll still just keep it under that title, like where it says this is for mom, this is for dad. So sometimes I would give them as a lump sum, and they probably think then I have emergency. So emergency, this is the second type of savings that I have. So I have my emergency fund that I fund every single month. This is the emergency fund that I'm building in the event that I lose my job today. I'll be able to tap from this emergency fund, and for that same month, if I'm to have an emergency, I'll still be able to take from that emergency fund. So this is why I have an emergency fund. Then we also have, I'll touch again on emergency fund. Then the last thing I have is variable costs. Under variable costs, this is where I have all those unique finds. So by unique finds, I'm simply referring to those things that I just feel like, oh, I think I need to buy this. This is cute. Okay, I think I need new sheets, or I think this decor would look nice in my house. I think I need a frame. I think I need this. So those are like the unique finds. Those are the variable costs that I have, and every month I budget for those. So why do I have so many subtitles under my budget? Remember, I said the first thing that I have is fixed expenses. These fixed expenses cannot be negotiated at all. Then the other expense that I have is variable costs. Variable costs, this is where I said mainly I cover my unique finds. These are the costs that I use maybe to subscribe to CapCut. I use those to subscribe to Spotify, etc, etc. And if I decide that I'm going to have lunch with my friends or my family or whoever, this is where I take the money from the variable cost. So the reason why I have the variable cost is I've noticed that the moment you come up with a budget and it's that tight to a point where you cannot even remove $1, you know that thing yekuti ukangotenga Pepsi nema buns budget ratosheka. It kind of strains people. This is the reason why most people do not like to budget. This is the reason why most people just want to live life as it goes, right? Because they know that it's a bit draining, it's a bit tiring, you know, to tie yourself and to restrict yourself that much. So I don't want to live that like that. And sometimes you may restrict yourself that much, but you actually find yourself tapping into those savings. So I'd rather limit my savings, instead of me saving maybe $100 a month, I would rather save $70 a month. Then I would allocate that $30 for variable costs, so that on those variable expenditures, I know that I'm flexible to use $30 this month, rather than me putting the whole $100 towards my savings. Then somewhere during the course of the month, I find myself coming back to that same $100. So this is how people end up digging into their savings. So I don't want to do that. That's why I always have an allocation for variable costs. So if it happens that maybe this month I never spent on any lunch, I never went out with my friends, I never spent on any of those recreational activities, I'll still carry over that money into the following month. So what it means for the following month, if this month I had 30 for variable costs, that means the next month I am going to have another 30, and altogether it's 60. So now I can do something that is even bigger, something that I couldn't do last month because the finances were a bit on the low. So that's why I do have variable costs. So these variable costs, they're more like a miscellaneous costs. They sound like they're not important because it's miscellaneous costs, but they are important because they help us. This is where we fund our cravings from. We fund them from the variable costs so that we don't touch on our main savings. And the reason why I have money that is allocated for family is this is my family, so I've told myself that I'm going to be giving them money here and there, but at the same time I don't want to splurge, I don't want to overspend, because at the end of the day people will always want something. So they'll always want something, and they always think you have money. So if you don't also track how much you spend towards your family, sometimes you find yourself that you are actually restricting yourself with everything else, but you still can't manage to save anything because you are giving away all your money. Then on the emergency now, sometimes I do not experience any form of emergency. I rarely experience emergencies. It's just 2 days ago, 3 days ago, when I had my car battery stolen. So my car window was broken, then they got in, they stole the battery. This is one of the emergencies. So now this is where you then go back to your emergency fund to say, okay, let me fund my battery and fix my car from this account. So you find that this emergency fund, or rather this incident which happened like 3 days ago, it took us almost $100. Of course, I got some help from my friends. I don't know if I say my friends, my pastor, but yeah, I got some help from my friends. But it's not like all of that was under the emergency fund for this month. So sometimes emergency fund doesn't need to be like $500 a month, because we don't have such money. But what I believe in the compound effect of saving. So you find that when I started my emergency fund, I would put away something like $20 a month, just $20 a month. But this is something that I've been doing since 2021, only for me to get an emergency 3 days ago. But this is money that I've been saving maybe since 2021. So I have enough for me to respond to such an emergency. So it's not yet where I want it to be, because at some point I would want my emergency fund to be able to fund for my 6 months lifestyle. If I'm not going to change my lifestyle, and in the event that I don't have any other income, I should be able to sustain myself for like 6 months with that same emergency fund. Then I have savings. These are the savings that I said. Let's say I'm saving towards a bigger goal, like I'm saving towards a car, I'm saving towards buying a house, I'm saving towards starting a business. Because remember, now I have savings that are meant maybe to start a business, but I have savings that are meant for emergency. You can't invest all that money at once. Why? Because it's almost always certain that whenever we invest, whenever we try out new ventures, whenever we try all those side hustles, it's almost always certain that we don't get that money back. We experience losses after losses after losses after losses. But you know what? That's the life of an entrepreneur. So you can't just give up. You need to keep trying. You need to keep trying. Whilst you're trying, you cannot risk yourself not having a place to stay because you have invested all the money. So there need to be a separation between savings that you're saving towards investing and savings that you're just saving for your emergencies. So that's why there is that distinction. So also on finances, I've learned that when you are giving out money to people, let's say someone wants to borrow, you need to make sure that you do some due diligence on before you make a decision to borrow someone money. Why am I saying so? Because personally, I've been someone who gives out money. I give money to people, but more often than not, I don't get that money back. So I've told myself that if I'm not willing to let go of this money, if I'm not willing to just give you this money, then I won't give you. Unless otherwise you have proven beyond doubt that you are capable of giving me back my money, then I can lend you some money. Otherwise, I'll just help you for the sake of helping, not borrow you. So that's also one thing that I employ when it comes to my finances. Back to the fact that I actually plan for my finances before the 20th of every month. The reason is I've noticed that more often than not, when we get hold of our money before we actually decide what we're going to do with the money, we find ourselves spending money on those things that are maybe trivial. And by the time we start thinking of those things that really matter, most of the time we don't have this money anymore. So that's why I want to plan for my finances with a clear mindset. You know, when you're planning and you don't have money, somehow we plan things that are very, very important. Somehow we have these very big plans, very important plans. Everything is well laid out, you know. When you plan after getting the money, more often than not, we use it on trivial things. So that's why I've made it a point that before the 20th of every month, I have to make sure that I plan for my finances. So what I do is, let's say I get my October salary. My October salary is going to fund my November lifestyle. So this is my budget for November. So what I was doing just now is my budget for November, which is funded using the October salary. So this is how I go about my finances. I hope this video was helpful to you. I hope you managed to learn a thing or two. Anyway, you can comment in the comment section below, and also let me know what else you would want to hear about. Even if you are going to ask more questions on personal finance, this might actually be the beginning of our recovery of lost hope. Remember, when I started this channel, I said that the vision for this channel is to recover lost hope. So lost hope, people have lost hope in different aspects of life, and some of the aspects of life include people have lost hope in relationships, people have lost hope in themselves and their potential. You know, we have people who actually believe that they're useless or their lives amount to nothing. We have people who have lost hope when it comes to finances. We have people who have lost hope and who actually think, and we have people who are always wondering how to balance life, how to balance their finances. So as part of our recovery of lost hope, I hope this video is going to assist. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and also tell me, let me know what else you want to hear about in this channel. Let me know what else you want to hear about. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you continue to support me. Otherwise, for now, bye bye.